due to E. coli being detected in local water sources. Now, the CDC says water from the system needs to be boiled for 1 minute before using it. The Ponca tribe in Nebraska says this is expected to be resolved by next Friday.
All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here on our First Alert 6 streaming Friday edition. I'm Cerise Cole.
I'm Erin Hartley, joined by meteorologist Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. Did you get the peace sign? All right. We'll get an update on your forecast. Going to be a pretty enjoyable weekend before we get there.
Yeah.
Storm chances for tonight.
That's the main thing to focus on yet today. Pay attention to that after 5 o'clock, I think, is the start time. That doesn't mean we all get a thunderstorm right at 5 o'clock. That's the earliest I think we'll have some on the map trying to threaten the area. And they'll come in from the northwest, and you can see some ongoing storms from last night still going across parts of South Dakota and Minnesota with clouds moving in, and we'll gradually see more clouds fill in during the day as well. But a first alert to some isolated strong storms, mostly after 5, some wind gusts and some hail potential from the strongest of the storms. Not every storm is even going to be severe, but ones that develop could have a little bit of strength with them for a time or two. You can break it down by the different aspects here. Tornado threat, I just don't see it from this, but you can see green shaded area filling in with the hail potential and the wind potential. Pretty low on the scale here, but it is possible from a couple of storms within this. Get some hail up near quarter size and some wind gusts near 60 miles per hour, which is basically the low threshold of the severe storm potential. Now, out there right now, you got some beautiful skies with sunshine and a beautiful sunrise. Right around 70 is where we're at now. Muggy meter is going to hang up here in the muggy range all day today, and that'll fuel any thunderstorms that move through later on tonight. You can see most of us in the 60s, although Omaha a little warmer, 69 there, 66 in Papillion, 67 in Millard. And you get outside the metro and you got lower and mid 60s, even a 50 showing up there in Clarinda to start off the day. If you're a fan of cool weather, just wait a couple days, you'll get plenty of it here. As we march through today, you'll see by noon we're up into the 80s and just more clouds as we go through the course of the day. By 3 o'clock, model's trying to hint at a little something to the northwest, but I think we're ultimately waiting till closer to 5. We build the heat up near 90 degrees, and then we'll watch the thunderstorm potential drop in from the northwest, and you can see only a couple of storms may get going right off the bat. 1 or 2 of those could become severe. I don't expect widespread severe potential by 10. That little batch moving out, but a little bit more could develop then as we get closer to midnight. Those 2 would drop southeast, and then overall cooler air just kind of spills in behind this heading into the early morning hours of Saturday. We'll probably be pretty close to 70 degrees to start off the day Saturday, and then a big dip in the muggy meter. Look at this. You'll head out to maybe wake up on Saturday, enjoy some coffee outdoors. You're going, what? I thought he said it wasn't going to be all that humid. Well, it starts humid and it gets better during the day. Saturday's the day where we kind of transition and that cooler, less humid air just flows in from the north all day.
And then from there, it's just going to keep getting, the good's going to get better.
It's phenomenal weather. We get to enjoy it all weekend and into the early part of next week. How about 80 then for the high on Saturday, 78 on Sunday, a lot of 70s then for the early part of next week. Average high is about 85 this time of year, and we're going to be below that for a while as the dew points stay down in that pleasant and refreshing range. This is going to make that next bout of humidity sting a little bit, I think, just because of how nice it's going to be over the end of August here, but it can still get plenty humid in the month of September too, with 70s in the early part of the week and then 80s on the way by the end of the week. Overall, things should trend a little warmer the way it looks. And normally with these air masses that come in from Canada, at least the last several, we've been dealing with wildfire smoke. Yeah. So you get the cool air with the low air quality. That's not the case with this one. This one looks like it's going to be the best of both worlds. You can open up the windows and it won't smell like a wildfire outside.
Nice.
All right. In the meantime, let's get an update on traffic this morning with Jarrett. What you talking about?
Well, we've been seeing the last few mornings, a lot of it is construction impacts that we end up seeing. And that's what I'm seeing the early going again today. Now, it's maybe one of the areas that we haven't talked about as much that's the worst one so far, and it's going to impact drivers on Highway 275. If you're in Valley, Fremont, you want to listen up because you've had some problems over the last few mornings with some of the lane restrictions that have been in place here, but look at that. it's coming to a complete stop right now as you're getting just past Valley as people try to merge in with that lane restrictions. By the way, the reason we have this work happening is for some sealing that's happening in some of the cracks in the road. So that's the process that's taking place. Unfortunately, I don't have a time frame for you for just how long that's going to be taking place, but certainly it's not a fun drive for you as you're making your way eastbound on 275. So if you are in Valley, if you're in Fremont, and you're trying to make your way to the metro, leave plenty of time because things are really slowing down in that stretch. You can see those speeds even getting down near 20, or as you saw in the camera shot there, not moving. So we'll keep an eye on that, keep you posted on the latest with that this morning. Other areas that typically slow down right about this point in the morning, JFK looks pretty good right now. It even didn't get quite as bad as it has been right around 7 a.m. So we're looking at pretty good travel so far there. As you're heading westbound on I-80, as you're getting just past L, you do have some delays. They're not quite as bad as we've seen either at some points over the last few mornings. Hopefully we can keep those in check. And it's just kind of picking up with the amount of traffic that's on the roads. By far the worst area is that spot right by Valley. So we'll keep an eye on things. Of course, we start adding all the school traffic on during the morning. We do see other areas slow down, so we'll be watching that.
All right, Jarrett, thank you. 2 News Now. Voters in Valley will get to decide whether they want to oust the mayor and city council president. First Alert 6 has learned the petition received the required number of signatures to put the recall to a vote. The petition circulator alleges Mayor Cindy Grove violated open meeting laws and created a hostile work environment, and that council president John Batcher prioritizes special interests over his job as a public servant. The Douglas County Election Commissioner says the recall election will be by mail in November. All new details on the immigration detention center going up in McCook. For the first time, we are hearing from authorities.
Our team spoke with the sheriff of Red Willow County. Sheriff Kevin Darling says while local leaders wait on more details on how the center will be converted and who will be held there, they've formed a unified command between his office, the city, the county, and the local hospital. The main goal is to speak to residents about any challenges that pop up with this transition.
We have a new mission and we have to get the mission done. So let's be positive. Let's move forward, get it done and move on. It's a simple, being a whiner and complainer about it fixes nothing.
Darling says he's been told only low-level criminal offenders will be kept at the McCook facility. He says his deputies will not work directly with ICE, but will act as liaisons where they can.
All right, Aaron, thank you. I'm here with Maria Cade at the safety desk with an alert to check your freezers. Second time this week.
Yep, there's another recall of bagged frozen shrimp, and according to the FDA, this one is also being recalled because of possible radioactive contamination. So this one was manufactured by Southwind Foods. They were sold under several different names between July 17th and August 8th. So you can see some of those here on your screen. Of course, this comes just days after Walmart's Great Value shrimp was also recalled for the same exact reason. So if you have any of these, either throw them out or return it back to the store where you got it for a refund. Luckily, though, so far nobody has been sick from this.
That's the good news.
Yes.
All right, Maria, thank you for the very latest. Appreciate it. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back. Time now 7:13. Take it a live look outside. Nice shot overlooking the downtown Omaha skyline. What's going to be even better about today? Less humidity for the next couple of days. Walking the pups outside, it's just been really, really hot. So today, a little bit better for everybody.
It's going to really start to improve this weekend, too. I love the way it's looking. So you can get outdoors and enjoy it a little bit more with the lack of humidity. So today, got the same feel to what we've had the last several days, right up near 90 degrees for the high as we're starting near 70. So again, pretty similar start, pretty similar finish. Here comes the cluster of clouds from the northwest that'll eventually try to produce a few thunder showers in our area. And a couple of those could be a little on the strong side. Again, wind gusts and hail potential. Been talking about this a lot. A first alert to that in the green shaded area. That hasn't changed much. And you can see as you break it down into individual components here, not all that worried about tornadoes. It's a hail and wind threat from the strongest storms that can get going. I don't foresee a big issue, but it is something we'll have to watch from any storm that tries to strengthen a little bit later on this evening after 5 o'clock. Temperatures right now, a lot of 60s, and those pretty much the same story inside and outside the metro. As we march through the day, I want to show you how these storms would play out. 80s for the most part, right up near 90 for the high. Still pretty quiet by 3, still pretty quiet by 5, but it's any storm that gets going after 5. It's going to have some energy to work with after we climb to near 90, and you can see how 1 or 2 of these can be intense. This model takes it through the Fremont area and across parts of the metro. This could honestly be anywhere on the map here along this little broken line that tries to develop. That would move southeast, and then we'll see if we can get a little more new development near the I-80 corridor and south for the overnight hours, and that would move on through, possibly bring some slightly heavier rain with that round, and we'll start off tomorrow near 70 degrees. So you can see additional rainfall from this round of storms. You get some isolated pockets that try to get up near an inch. One of those caught the model here near Plattsmouth. You can see 1.5 inches out of that. That's if you get a longer lived thunderstorm. So we'll see how this goes here. Hopefully you can get a little douse of rain, although because there's not a lot of chances beyond that. And then the muggy meter really drops tomorrow. Look at this dive it takes right on the edge of pleasant and refreshing by the afternoon. You get beautiful, beautiful weather to enjoy. That's with a high near 80. Little bit of a north breeze tomorrow. Could have some gusts 20 to 25, but overall it looks like a really, really good day. And that's the case for the next several days as we see temperatures climb a little bit, but the dew points stay low. So any warmth we try to build in the afternoon is very enjoyable. We get morning lows in the 50s, afternoon highs in the 70s, Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday as well. You look a little longer range and you can see highs in the 80s by the end of the week here in our area.
All right, speaking of that Thursday, with the N on it, we're less than a week away. So what's the forecast looking like for the Kansas City Classic?
All right, so right now I'm leaning on the warmer side of what computer models are saying. I think it's going to be something where we start off pretty warm in the 80s and then cool off into the 70s. But there's a complex to the west that could impact central Kansas that may send some clouds and some showers towards Kansas City. Right now, I think most of that stays to the west, but that's what I'm going to be tracking. If that's the case, we'd cool off these numbers a little bit and bump up the rain chances. But right now, I think I'm leaning on the lower end of the rain chances and the higher end of the temperatures with this one. Okay. And we'll see how it evolves as we get into the early part of next week when everybody gets going. I'd probably do a Husker game on Thursday, maybe a Royals game on Friday. Should be a pretty popular weekend across for most of the people.
I think you're right.
I don't think that's bad. It's been way hotter in years past this time.
The 8 o'clock kickoff helps immensely with that day.
Yeah. Okay, let's get another update on traffic. Jared, back to a situation you were just following a new crash now to First Alert to 2.
You know, it's so important to be careful and mindful when you're driving through these construction zones, and sometimes people aren't necessarily paying as close of attention as they should be, and you end up with crashes. Not saying that's necessarily what happened here, but you've got things backing up now, even more so with this crash. And here's the problem with this. We had one lane that was open, and the crash is in that lane right near Valley. So you need to leave plenty of time now if you're heading eastbound on 275 from Fremont or Valley, because now, in addition to the lane restrictions, you've got the lane being blocked by the crash, so you have people having to wind into the blocked off lane to get around the crash and then return, with traffic merging in as well just past that. So this is just kind of a total mess at the moment, and it's really impacting the speed. You can see those down around 10 miles per hour as people kind of crawl and work their way around that mess. So this is going to be an area that we keep close tabs on, right near Meg's where we have the crash and the construction zone as well. So that's easily the worst thing that we have going on. You can see a lot of our other hot spots the last few mornings are actually doing pretty well. I-80, not terrible, a little slow right near that construction zone, but not as bad as we've seen it. JFK looks good. Overall, a pretty good start to our morning. Hopefully we can hold on to that, and hopefully we can improve that mess near Valley.
One trouble spot. All right, Jared, thank you. On new details in a case First Alert 6 investigates has followed all week long.
Council Bluffs police say they recovered more than 800 bronze vases stolen from grave sites at local cemeteries. Now, investigators say the vases were taken from West Lawn Hillcrest in Omaha and Walnut Hill in Council Bluffs. However, they believe there are other cemeteries that were hit as well. Authorities have made 4 arrests so far. Shane Jackson, Kenneth Myrot, Frankie Diaz-Lopez, and Miranda Shamblin, all told that 4 other suspects are still at large. Their names and photos can be found up on our website under this story at firstalert6.com. Happening today in your Big Red Extra coverage, Nebraska volleyball opening their season in Lincoln, playing inside Pinnacle Bank Arena for the first time.
Yeah, today is the day the team named Bergen Riley, Andy Jackson, and Rebecca Alec as captains for the upcoming season. Fans are hoping for another successful season after the Huskers made it to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament last year. Their first match is against Pitt. That is tonight at 6. Then on Sunday afternoon, they take on Stanford.
All right, still ahead, we find out who the top dog is.
Yeah, more on one possum surfing competition when we come back.
Surf's up. More than 25 dogs joined their owners for the Ocean Fast Surfer competition in Hawaii.
Now, some pets rode the waves alone while others rode tandem. Let's check it out. It was the 10th year. Oh, look how good they are. It was the 10th year for this competition. Teams competed for a year's supply of Raising Canes and other prizes. Look how good they do.
I love them by
This is like a corgi on a surfboard. That's awesome.
love
That's
this
smart
so
to put
much.
the beach chair.
Yeah, that is smart.
Then they have a
They all
little
have
bit better
different
of a balance.
strategies too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, back here at home, sort of at home, thousands of Iowa State fans are making the trip across the pond.
They're traveling to see the matchup between the Cyclones and the Wildcats in Dublin. The excitement was palpable as the Des Moines airport where fans gathered to embark on a once-in-a-lifetime trip. And for some fans, the drinks are a big part of the attraction.
This is going to feel like a giant field trip for 10,000 Iowans.
And what are you looking forward to the most over there?
The beer.
Well, for me personally, I think I always wanted to have Guinness in Ireland.
A lot of pubs, a lot of beer.
All right, it's unanimous. You can catch the kickoff tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Do you notice it was just the Iowa State fans, though? The Wildcat didn't mention the beer, but all the Iowa State fans, it was the beer, the beer, the beer.
There's also the guys, too.
Well, I mean,
Well, he was the guy.
the big thing at Iowa State tailgates is drinking Busch Light beer. And they are not going to find a single one of those over, so they're going to have to find something to fill the gap, but they'll have a good time nonetheless.
Yeah, that's exciting, isn't
It'll be
it?
fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's the very first college football game of the whole season tomorrow at 11 o'clock, so it'll be fun.
And Iowa State gets to start it off.
I was going to say, you guys are alums. What do you, a win?
Oh, of course.
Hope so. They're both ranked teams.
Okay.
If you don't start with a win, hopefully it's not a rough season.
Yeah.
I have faith. They're going to win.
Come on. I think the Husker volleyball team's going to win, and I'm hoping the Creighton volleyball team will win. Wins all around for everybody. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us here on First Alert 6. We're going to get ready for our update in the Today Show. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
Have a great start to your weekend.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
Good Friday morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Harley. Let's look at an update on traffic this morning as you make your way out with Jarrett Lansford.
And we've got one big problem spot, and it's for drivers who are coming in from Fremont and Valley. You've got not only construction here, but also a crash in the construction zone, and that's blocking the right lane. That's the one lane that was supposed to be open for this area. So there you can see we're getting police on the scene now. That's blocking the right lane. Everyone having to dart into the left lane and then come back into the right lane to be in the correct spot for the construction. And you have traffic merging in, so it's kind of a mess in that area. Other areas, though, moving along in pretty good shape. Just be ready if you're heading there. You're going to get delayed. Rusty.
Thanks, Jared. And we're talking about storm potential later on tonight after about 5 o'clock in the green shaded area here, a 1 out of 5. Not a big, widespread, severe event. We're talking about the storms that can get going. There could be 1 or 2 that give us a little wind and some hail potential. So we'll have to pay attention to these as we get a little bit closer. It'll be Jade and Bo here later on tonight, giving you the latest on all these as they develop after 5 o'clock. And still some chances through the overnight hours as well. So heads up to that, as we could have a couple linger through the overnight as well. With temperatures right now in the 60s, this will be the last of the hot and humid days for a little while. Up near 90 for the high today around 5. Then we take that heat, try to turn it into some thunderstorms. And then Saturday and Sunday, the dew points drop off and we have very comfortable highs near 80 degrees. Aaron?
Breaking news we are following. A person is in the hospital with serious injuries after an overnight crash. This happened on I-680 near Pacific just before 11:30 last night. It is unclear what caused the crash or how many cars were involved.
All right, it is 7:28. We're back with another update for you in about 25 minutes. We'll see you then.